Hey y'all, how's it going? Silent Coyote here, and today I'm going to be showing you this keyboard that I recently pulled from a trash pile and restored. It's the Leading Edge SKM-1030, and it was made sometime in the late 1980s and was bundled up with one of Leading Edge's personal computers at the time. There's very little information about this keyboard online and literally no YouTube videos, so I figured I'd make one so people can become a little bit more aware of this cool piece of history. Leading Edge was a very popular PC manufacturer in the late 1980s and the early 1990s. The man that was tossing all of these computer components away told me that he bought his Leading Edge PC somewhere around 1989 to 1990, so I can only assume that it was probably a Leading Edge Model D or a D2. There were some parts of it in the pile stuff that I went through, but it was pretty torn apart and too big for me to take, and I just wasn't sure what I even had at the time. After a bit of research, all I've really figured out about the board is what type of switches it has, and that's about it. One thing I was really happy about, though, is that every single key works, and so do all of the LEDs. When it comes to how I actually clean this keyboard up, I mainly used a Mr. Clean Magic Eraser with a little bit of 409 spray and some paper towels. Other than that, I used a toothbrush to clean up the metal board underneath the keycaps and just some good old elbow grease.
Whatever you do, don't forget to use some of that good old elbow grease.
The switches don't sound half bad for being over 30 years old. There is quite the metallic, springy sound, but that's because those springs are probably dry as all hell. The stabilizers mostly fell apart over the years and unhooked themselves from the keycaps, but luckily all the pieces were still there and I was able to set them all back up. Oh yeah, and when it comes to how much the thing is worth, I have no clue, but some have been listed on eBay for as much as $300. These switches are Futaba MA black and whites with the inverse stem, meaning that the keycap stem goes inside of the switch and not the other way around. These switches were originally marketed as tactiles, but these switches have kind of lost their hump over time. I had never seen a keycap like this, and luckily I have all of them because I don't think I'd be able to find a replacement very easily at all. Wherever I've actually been able to find people talking about these switches online, they refer to them as closed switches because they're held together by little metal pins. They're very hard to reopen and they're very hard to relubricate, so you pretty much just gotta deal with what you get. These type of caps are called inverse cross-mount keycaps, and they were probably made by Futaba. And from what I can find online, well, nobody's really too sure whether they're ABS or PBT. These keycaps required a lot of force to remove, so when I restored the board, I didn't remove them, I just left them on the switches. I did not want to risk breaking them as they're very old, very fragile, and the number 3 keycap is already cracked at the stem. As for how I powered this thing, well, it's simple really. I just used a DIN or DIN to PS/2, and then I used a Monoprice brand PS/2 to USB converter, and the thing worked automatically once I plugged it in. Overall, I couldn't be happier with how this thing came out, and I'm really excited to get to use a keyboard that's, well, older than I am. I did open up the keyboard to clean it, but I'm just a bit nervous to do it again since the plastic clips that hold it together are very aggressive, and I just don't want to risk breaking anything. If you know anything about this keyboard, please leave a comment down below, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe for more content like this. See ya.